Our knowledge of God, looked at in previous videos I posted, is general. I tried there to say what can be known about God generally, or through what theologians like to call general revelation. But we may wonder if does God want us to know more specific information about Him? That is the question to which I now turn. We know, based on previous videos, that God exists. We know further that He is personal, loving, just, and the creator of our world. In addition, He is all-knowing, all-powerful, and everywhere present. This is a bare bones or general explanation of what God is like. Would God want us to know more specific details about Him? It is not implausible to suppose that God may so want. Why? Well, we know that God is both loving and just. Because God is just and all-knowing and all-powerful, it would make sense to suppose that life ultimately shall be fair. Yet we do not see total fairness in this life. So then, there is perhaps a life to come wherein God will make all things right. But hold on. We know from personal experience that all men are wicked. I do not say that all men are as bad as they can possibly be all the time, yet I know from personal experience that I am not absolutely perfect at all times. And you know the same thing about yourself. Ray Comfort and Kirk Cameron have taken a lot of flack on YouTube, but it seems to me they do have a point. I am not speaking here of bananas and crocoducks. Rather, I am speaking of their claims, which seem to me undeniable, that telling a single lie makes one a liar, and similarly for the other vices. Stealing, for example, if you steal once, you're a thief. That's what they're claiming. Now, God cannot be totally just, it seems, and allow us to get away with murder, or lying, stealing, adultery, etc. If God is just, then our afterlife, supposing we have one, may not be very pleasant, getting what we deserve and all. But we also know that God is loving. Because of His love, we would tend to expect we shall not suffer in the life to come. How are we to understand the dynamics of God's love and justice, not just in the abstract, but in our own afterlives personally? Also, God being personal, we would be surprised if God would be happy with such a general knowledge of Himself. Persons like to have a relationship with other persons, and the deeper the relationship, the more specific the knowledge possessed by the latter of the former. So the more intimately I know you, the more things about you I will know. The deeper my understanding of you will be. What I am saying so far is not that we have absolute proof that God has provided us with a special as opposed to a general revelation of Himself. What I am saying instead is that it is not excuse me. What I'm saying instead is that it is not implausible to suppose that God may have done that. Now, if God wanted to reveal Himself specifically, as opposed to generally, to mankind, how could He have done so? Directly speaking to each and every individual human is hardly parsimonious. Audio-video recordings are a recent development, so people down through the eons of time would not have access to such a revelation. It seems then that the best method God could have used to more specifically reveal Himself to human beings would be to write an autobiography. Are there any ancient books which claim to be an autobiography of the theistic God Himself? Are there any ancient books which are believed by a portion of the world population to be such? There are three main candidates of which I am aware. Number 1, the Book of Mormon. Number 2, the Quran. Number 3, the Bible. I do not myself believe that the Book of Mormon is an ancient document, but those who believe in it as ancient divine autobiography, or those that, let me start over that part. I do not myself believe that the Book of Mormon is an ancient document, but those who believe in it as divine autobiography tend to view it as such, as ancient, about 300 BC, I believe. And I want to give that claim that the Book of Mormon is ancient the benefit of the doubt for the purposes of this video. Both the Book of Mormon and the Quran recognize the Bible as being divine autobiography. They do not necessarily agree that the Bible we have now is identical to the original Bible, but if the original Bible were produced, say in some vault in the Vatican, according to both Islamic and Mormon theology, we would have the Word of God. Okay, so what I am most certainly not saying is that we have proven the Bible to be the Word of God. The point I am making in this video is more modest than that. I am merely suggesting that it would not be antecedently improbable for God, who we now know definitely exists, to have written an ancient autobiography. It's not antecedently improbable for God to have written a biography of himself. Further, a reasonable place to start looking for such a biography is the Bible itself. I shall turn to such a proof in subsequent videos, a proof that the Bible is a special revelation of God. That's what I'll be looking at next in subsequent videos. Once we see that the Bible is true and specific revelation of God, we will know that Christianity is the true form of theism, for Christianity is merely the application of the teachings of the Bible. So if the Bible is true, then the Christian faith, which is faith in the Bible, is going to be true as well. The arguments of classical apologetics do prove a general theistic God. Detractors of these arguments are correct when they point this out. However, they are missing the point of the arguments. Like all of Euclidean geometry is not proved in the opposite angle theorem, so all of Christianity is not proved in a single theistic argument. This was never the intention of the theistic arguments in the first place. My case for the Bible shall be different in kind from my case for God. This is as it must be by the nature of the case. The case for the Bible is of necessity less deductive in nature, and in addition more cumulative. This kind of reasoning is more akin to the natural sciences than to philosophy, but it is still a genuine form of proof. I will show then to such a high degree of probability that the Bible is the Word of God as to make a denial of this claim, the Bible being the Word of God, very unreasonable. So in subsequent videos, Christianity will be seen to be more reasonable than any other theistic faith. We have looked at theism in general and will look at Christianity in particular next. Thank you. Shalom out.